Hi,
Hi
you must
there.
be my 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi there.
And your name is Mr. Acampa?
Yes,
Okay.
Stephen's fine.
Stephen's fine? Okay, good. Thank you, Stephen. Have a seat. First I'm going to talk to you today about, I'm going to go over a few things with you first, some of the rules and stuff, and then we'll go from there. But first of all, my name is Kimberly Elliott, and I'm one of the social workers here at the clinic. And so first I'm going to go over our confidentiality policy. And if you have any questions at any time, just stop me and we'll elaborate on those. Okay? What you say here stays here between me and you, unless I see that you're a threat to yourself or others, and then of course by law I have to report that. If I see that I might need some extra advice on how to proceed with this case, then I will talk to one of my other social workers or my supervisor. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Do you have any questions so far?
Yeah, none that I can think of.
Okay. Is it all right if I take some notes as we're talking, so I can kind of like make some notes for
Absolutely.
your file? Okay, great. Okay, so what brings you in here today, Stephen?
I'm not really sure what it's like exactly, like pinpointing it. I can't really think of anything specific. I know that I decided to come in just because I've been struggling to kind of figure out what's going on in my own head. I guess if I had to put a label on it, just like anxiety would be the best thing to say. Like just persistent anxiety that's lasted for a long time, like, you know, about a month or more now.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like, so at the start of this semester, so that was, you know, back in the end of August, I just started grad school. I'm pursuing a degree at Eastern Kentucky University. I'm pursuing a master's in mathematics. So, and that's what I got my undergrad in as well. So I just started that, and I mean, I was nervous, you know, to start out with that. I also got a graduate assistantship along with admittance to the university, and that basically is, I work 20 hours a week for the university doing various tasks for the math department. Like I teach a class, I teach a Math 095 class, and then I'm a lab assistant for another class. I do some grading for some professors, but all in all, it's nothing, like I said, it's only 20 hours a week of work for that, but then I've also got, you know, 3 graduate classes full-time on top of all that. So when that started, you know, I was kind of anxious and worried that I wouldn't be able to make it, and I thought that was normal. You know, it's brand new. This is my first time doing all this. You know, I guess it made sense to me. But now it's, you know, we're almost halfway through the semester. I've kind of settled into a routine, but I'm kind of still in the same place as far as my anxiety.
So you're a full-time student, you said. So you go to school full-time.
Yes.
And you work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how many hours a week do you devote to your studies?
Let's see. Well, I've got 3 classes, which doesn't sound like a lot. It's 9 credit hours, but I mean, they're graduate classes, so they're pretty intense. And I typically spend about, you know, 20 to 30 hours just, you know, studying or doing homework total. And then I've also got, you know, my graduate assistant position, but that's part-time. It's only 20 hours a week. You know, it kind of pays the bills, but I'm thinking about looking for like another part-time job or picking something up just to make a little bit more money, just in case, like, you know, my car breaks down or something.
So do you think this could be adding to your stress level? The school and the work and the you know, the externships and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, I think so, and that was, you know, my initial thought, but, you know, like right now, like I said, I've kind of gotten into a routine. You know, I've got A's in all my classes right now.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, midterm reports just came out. You know, my work is going well. You know, I'm getting the hang of teaching, even though it's my first semester doing that. Really, I guess maybe it's that I'm worried that things are going too well, and that it's like an indicator that I'm about to mess everything up. Because, like, my parents are really happy that I am where I am and that I'm doing so well. But, you know, they keep cheering me on, and, you know, they want me to continue. And I'm worried about how they'll feel if, you know, like I failed a class or something like that.
So from what I can see here, we need to maybe kind of like find a balance, because you have work and you have school. Mm-hmm. Do you take any time for Stephen?
I mean, A little bit, yes, from time to time. You know, sometimes I'll, you know, grab food with friends if I'm free. But I mean, I do keep pretty busy, and I figured, you know, that's normal. You know, grad school is supposed to be tough, and you know, working kind of keeps you, you know, busy. That's kind of how it goes. So.
Do you have any like pressures from like family as far as your schooling goes or anything?
I don't know that I would say pressures, not like intentionally maybe. Like, so I'm a first generation college student.
Okay, what exactly is that?
That basically means like you're the first person in your like immediate family to go to college. Like, you know, my parents, neither one of them went to college. You know, their parents didn't go to college. I have like a great uncle that has a master's degree, but he's, you know, several layers removed. And typically a first gen refers to someone who, you know, your immediate family hasn't gone to college. So, you know, my parents were very happy, you know, to hear that I got accepted and then went to college. And, you know, they're happy that I got a bachelor's and that I'm pursuing, you know, my master's now. But I think they don't realize that with their constant cheering, it makes me feel like if I mess anything up, they're going to be disappointed in me. And I'm trying to, like, I want to avoid that, obviously.
So you think that this could be added to your stress because they're setting the bar so high for you because you are the first person in your family to go to college? Do you think that, I mean, is that what you're trying, is that basically what you're getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that could definitely be a large part of it. I guess the reason that I thought it was strange that was giving me trouble, though, is because, like I said, you know, things are, you know, going well. I've got A's in my classes, so, you know, my head is above the water right now, so to speak.
So do you think that maybe you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself as well because you're looking for ways for you that this is going to fail maybe, and so you have that in the back burner in your mind maybe?
Yeah, I definitely tend to do that to myself. Like, I kind of sabotage my own, you know, thoughts and successes. Like, you know, when things are going well, it always feels like something's about to mess up. And I guess that might be part of it.
Well, you're not alone in that category. There's a lot of us out there who think the same way, that they're just everything's going around really smooth, and all of a sudden we're waiting for that bomb to go off. So that is normal. But what we need to do is we need to kind of work on that a little bit so that you don't feel that you're taking that stress level and adding it to the stress that you already have. And we also need to work on, you know, you need to have a little bit more time for Stephen. You know, you want to have your time to study and your time to do your work and your student teaching and all that, but we also need to make sure that Stephen makes time for himself, even if it's just to get a cup of coffee and just breathe and think of something else.
I think the main issue I have with that you know, taking time for me, is that with, you know, all these new things that I've started, you know, there's always something to do. Like, I always have something to do, whether it's homework or like grades I should put in, or, you know, an assignment I should be reviewing or studying. So anytime I do kind of take a break, I feel guilty. Like, I feel like I shouldn't be, you know, slacking off while I've got all this other stuff to do. And so then what little time I do spend doing stuff for myself, I don't really enjoy it as much, I guess, because instead I'm worrying about...
So why do you think you feel guilty for taking time for yourself?
Well, because, you know, if I, you know, let's say I just take a few hours one day and blow off a homework assignment just to let off some steam, and then, you know, I turn in that, you know, I rush to finish that homework assignment before it's due instead of getting it done early, and then I don't get, you know, as good a grade on it as I should have. Then basically what I've done is I've set myself up for failure, and I've, you know, set myself back by being lazy and not, you know, doing, you know, my due diligence before anything else.
So basically, if I'm understanding you correctly, you think that if you take time for Stephen, that's going to take away from your studies and your student teaching, and then that's going to leave you to add more stress on your plate already. If I understand that correctly.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's what it feels like, is if I take time off now, it's just going to come back to bite me later. So it's like I'll just do everything now and then try to get it all done and then relax. But like I said, there's always something to do. And I know that there's like a good work-life balance. I know I can't, you know, burn the candle at both ends because eventually I'll burn myself out, and I'm not trying to do that. But I think I'm
That's where
the
the taking
greatest
time for you
judge.
comes in at, taking time for
Mhm.
Stephen, to take that little break. Even though you have your assignments that are due and you have your student grades that you have to get in and stuff, you still have to take that little bit of time for you, whether it's 10, 15 minutes in between your assignments, 10, 15 minutes in between classes. You have to take that time for you so that you can regroup and we need to work on that. That's something we need to work on. Is maybe a goal possibly is to getting you to that level where you can take on that little breath that for Stephen. Also too, I think from what I'm hearing, you just have a lot of stress in general from like your family putting you on this pedestal, and then this is your first, you're in grad school, it's your first semester, you're trying to get the best grades that you can. So there's a lot of things here that I see that we can really, really work on to maybe relinquish some of that stress that you have going on. And if you're up for it, I think maybe having several more meetings, I think will probably help us a lot in that, because we can get to we can come up with some goals, we can work on things together that can maybe alleviate some of this, or just it may not alleviate it altogether, because we all know that the school is very stressful.
Oh, yes.
I felt that same way when I was going through my master, so it is a very stressful time.
Where did you get your master's in?
I got my master's in social work, actually.
Oh, very good. That makes sense.
Yeah. So so I know when I was studying that it was rough to work and go to school and do your clinicals that you had to do. So I can see here that you do have a lot on your plate, and we need it. It's not that it's a bad thing. We just need to work on maybe finding a happy medium somewhere. Do you have family support? Like, does your family support you as far as I guess that you are a student? Do they do? And you said that earlier that you said that they put you on this really high pedestal type thing. Have you talked to them about that? Maybe not putting so much pressure on you.
I've definitely had conversations with them, and we've discussed that because. They try to be supportive, and anything they do is not intentional, but where they've not gone through it themselves, they don't necessarily know what it's like, and so it's hard for me to translate that into terms that they understand. So they think that if you just study more, you'll do better, and that's automatic, and it's like a one-to-one relationship. And it's like, oh, you're struggling, just go study for 2 more hours, and boom, problem solved.
Well, if you're up for it, I would like for us to meet again in a week or so, and what we can do is in the meantime, I want you to set up some goals that you want to accomplish yourself. Like, where do you see yourself at in a month? Okay, and then we will work on that, and maybe in time, if you're up for it, maybe we can bring your family in to the conversation, and then they can hear what you're stressing about. If you're stressing because they're putting you on this pedestal, or all of it together, maybe they can get some insight, and maybe that can help them alleviate some of that pressure from you as well.
All right.
If you're up for that.
Okay. Sounds great.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming in, and I will see you next week at the same time, if that's okay.
Yep, sounds
All right.
great.
Well, thank you, Stephen. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you.
All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.